So did you know that you should be replacing the nylon lock with nuts every time you take it off? Well, you probably didn't. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Now, electrical skateboard, did you know? 02. What I got here is my 5000 watt DIY electric skateboard. She's awesome. At the moment, she's the best I've built so far. Fast and reliable and very good looking. But it's not going to be about this board today. What we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about nuts. And no, not about me, a 40-year-old and still playing around with skateboards. Not this kind of nuts. Literally about nuts. So electric skateboards, if you think about it guys, you've got 4 bolts holding your front trucks to the deck, 4 bolts holding your rear trucks to the deck, a couple of bolts holding the battery, and only a bolt on each side holding your actual truck to the pivot. So you're relying on 8 to 12 fixings when you ride your electrical skateboard. Well, this board here goes 30 miles an hour, and that's with me being 112 kilos or 17 stone, a bit over 17 stone. I'm trusting those bolts and nuts a lot, especially considering that they are quite tiny. This is the bolt here that holds your trucks together. Bolt is okay, because they normally are a high intensity steel made bolt. Nuts. And this is the reason why I want to talk about this. Nuts is what's holding the bolt onto your deck and onto your truck. Or your wheels onto your trucks. There are different types of nuts out there. 2 main different types. Normal nut and also a locking nut. So normal nut and bolt. Nothing special about it, just a nut. It's a steel structure with a thread inside. You put it over the bolt and you screw it straight on. But this is only good on items that don't move or vibrate. The decks and the electrical skateboards in general, or any skateboard, they do vibrate because you move, you hit the rough surfaces, they vibrate. And what's going to happen to the nut? It will wobble itself off, come off, and while you least expect it, bang, the nut flies off. So there are 2 types of fixings you can use. Either a normal nut, where you use a washer, then a lock washer, that's the one with a cut that goes over the normal flat washer, then a nut. So what happens, if you tighten up the nut, it squeezes the cut in the lock washer until it becomes flat, and that stops the nut falling off. There's also an easier way. So what you're looking at is a set of commonly used nuts on electric skateboards. This one here is got different names. For instance, a nylock nut, also referred as to nylon insert nut, polymer insert lock nut, or elastic stop nut. So why is this called a nylock nut? As you can see, inside the nut you got a nylon ring, which is a bit smaller diameter than the actual bolt that this nut is going to go over. So when you put this nut over the bolt, this nylon ring will squeeze over the thread and stop the nut from coming loose while the vibration is applied to the electrical skateboard. So Most importantly, the question is, how many times can you use this nut over and over? I'm sure that you guys like to play around with different wheels, and you're trying all sorts of different wheels on your board, and you are taking the nuts on the wheels off. And every time that you do so, you are wearing away this nylon ring. The British Royal Air Force has a rule where every single nylon ring nut needs to be replaced every time you take something apart. The International Air Force services recommend to actually check the torque of the nut before you replace it. So what do I think about this? What's the difference? You on an airplane, or you are on your favorite electric skateboard going down the hill at 25 to 30 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, whoosh. Guys, I really don't want you to have this experience, because it's not nice at all. So what do? I do reuse the lock nut all the time. But the way that I do it, I just take the bolt that the lock nut will be used on, and I try, without the tools, to put the lock nut on. It gets to the point where the thread of the bolt hits the nylon ring and it stops. And if you cannot physically get the nut on the bolt to protrude through the nylon ring, I personally think this nylon locking nut is still good to go. This one here, been used about 2 times now, and I still cannot get the bolt through the nut just with my hand. And this is the way I do it. So please, every time you take your wheels off or your trucks off, test the nut that you're going to use. If you're in doubt, just replace it with a new one. You don't have to go for a fancy kit that is sold especially for the skateboard. You can get a full set of locking nuts for about £4 to £5 or $6–7, whatever that it is in your currency, depending on the country you're living in. Definitely worth it. It's your life and your health I'm really looking after for over here. All the best. Hope you liked the video, and as usual, ride safely.